Maybe I should ask. Oh, I see. Okay, we are live on Twitch. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hi, this is a very exciting broadcast that we have today. My name is Henry Rose Litton. I'm your host. And joining me is the founder of Gatsby, one of the co-founders, Kyle Mathews. So thank you, Kyle, for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk about functions.
Yeah, so just as like introduction to what we're going to do today, Kyle is here to show us how easy it is to create functions. And I just want to say, just me, before joining Gatsby, I personally have used Gatsby and found it a delight to use. Now that I'm here in Gatsby, I'm even more excited about the things that are coming. The things that made me excited about Gatsby coming into this role here is the fact that the developer experience is seamless with Gatsby Cloud. And now that we have Gatsby functions, I think developers are going to be so excited about what we can do. But just step back, maybe just for the viewers who are new, and I just want to give some background about Gatsby. Kyle founded it in, I think, 2017. Is that right? That's what I read. But I think it's
2015.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
But then it became like a real
it's old man now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's still young. Still young. It's younger than me. A lot younger. So yeah, founded in 2015 to solve a lot of the challenges that developers face with building modern websites. And one of the things that Gatsby does very well is performance. And the reason we do it very well is because all of these files that you build in Gatsby are turned into static HTML sites. But having said that, Kyle, you're here to show us how to use functions and using the Fauna Database, right? That's kind of what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, so
some real-time stuff.
Yeah, you are a brave man to show real code. Let's hope Murphy's Law doesn't rear itself, but if it does, hey, we're human, right? So take it away.
Yeah, do it live, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Cool, so we have 52 minutes here, and we're gonna try to build something live. So first, let's do some basic, let's just talk about functions in general, and then we'll dive in. So let me see. First, how do I share my screen? Just be sharing my screen while I'm doing this. Entire screen. Good morning, Henry. Welcome to the show. Okay. I think this should work. Okay, I think I'm sharing now. Someone tell me if not.
I can't see it yet. Actually, I need to do something.
Oh, yeah, you might need to switch it over, yeah.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, this is my first gig too, so hopefully I don't get fired after. So share screen. Okay, not me. You want to share screen. Okay, you don't have the. Don't you use the function in the? I think it's in the StreamYard.
Yeah, it says StreamYard is sharing your screen.
Okay, because it's not showing on. It's not showing yet on my screen. Let me see. Okay, let's see.
Whoa.
No. Ooh, that's like we're in the Matrix. Okay.
No, I think that's right though.
Oh, that's what I need to do?
Yeah, because I'm just looking at this. Yeah, because if I go to another screen.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it just.
Ooh, that's yeah.
Anyways,
that's function for you.
Yes, this is
function.
Do
these things.
This is a function of recursive sharing of the same pixels as smaller and smaller. Okay.
Yeah.
Function is a very useful word. Okay, cool. So you had heard we launched hosting on Gatsby Cloud a few months ago, and 1,000 sites have been deployed. It's awesome, super fast, powered by Fastly, best CDN on the planet. And then we also wanted to, now that we had hosting, and people have used functions with Gatsby, serverless functions with Gatsby for a while through other services, and we wanted to bake this into Gatsby and release it on kind of Gatsby Cloud Hosting. And so that's what we've been working on the last few months, and we launched it last week. And they're now generally available. If you're on Gatsby 3.7, they're ready to go. And so if this is the first time using serverless functions, or you've used it on different services, place to start is in the documentation. So first, just kind of like a general introduction to functions. The point is they let you build dynamic applications without writing servers. So a Gatsby function is basically what it's like building an API with Node.js, but without having to run a server and without like all the boilerplate that typically comes with setting up a Node.js API. It's just dramatically simpler because you don't have to worry about running the thing. You don't have to be like load balancing, monitoring it, deployments, all that stuff. Like Gatsby Cloud just handles that for you. You don't have to worry about the boilerplate of like setting up routing and so forth. Gatsby Functions uses the same sort of file system routing, that pages do. So if you have like source pages, hello world.js, that turns into hello world, kind of like a route hello world in your site. The same thing with functions. If you put a JavaScript file into source API like hello world, then that becomes a site as well. So let's and so I'll show that in just a second. But anyways, so serverless functions are a great fit for whatever you might need to build an API for in your site. So submitting form, authentication, securely connecting to external services, building full-blown REST graphical APIs, etc. And they're really great too because just like the sort of you put up a PR and Gatsby Cloud like builds that kind of like fork of your code and shows you how it's different. You can test it. And it's like a full-blown version of your site with your changes. Functions work the same way. So if you put a PR, change your APIs, we'll deploy to Gatsby Cloud your change to your functions, and you can test them alongside the rest of your code. So it makes it really nice to and simple to iterate on your
that
your
sounds
code.
awesome. And I have to say, I have to give a lot of kudos to the Gatsby Cloud team because they are really managing a lot of the infrastructure, and it keeps things up and running. So yay to them.
So they've done an awesome job. It's a really nice setup. So I have a little. Oops.
Wonder, can you make it bigger?
If that's still small, let me just
there you go.
Even bigger. I find changing my screen resolution a lot simpler than trying to adjust every application to show bigger text. Okay, does this look good now? Yeah,
I think so. If anyone in the audience thinks we need to make it bigger, let me know. Let us know.
Okay, so so this is a simple Gatsby site. It's running. What is it running now? Gatsby 3.71, so the latest version. It has like functions turned on by default, so we don't need to add the flag anymore. So let's just run Gatsby develop and try writing our first function. So I'll open up.
For people to upgrade, they just need to do npm I Gatsby at latest, right? That get them.
Exactly. Yarn at Gatsby at latest or npm install Gatsby at latest. Okay, so now it's running. We have some stuff I was working on yesterday. We'll ignore that. But anyways, basic Gatsby site. So if we open up Vim, I'm a committed Vimmer, so so all we need to do then is open up or create a new file like hello world.js, and we go look at the docs, the getting started. So let's see what hello world looks like. So it's pretty simple, 3 lines of code. That's all you need to do to write a simple function. So just paste that in there. And then over here, it says, found the new thing. And then, so the path to this is source API hello world. And so this gets turned into a route at API/hello world. So we just go to API/hello world, and voila.
Right.
And yeah, so all the normal sort of development experience niceties that you expect from Gatsby here. So if you change something, hello live streaming audience, and save that, then the function's immediately reloaded, which is also something like if you've done Node.js API work, getting like hot reloading is kind of painful. So that honestly, that's one of the nicer things about this. It's just hot reloading just works. So like if you make an error, you say like throw new error, blah, hi, you see that. You do capital E. Anyways, it sends the error. You can see it in the console. What else? There's you can do console log hi. And then again, see logs there. So yeah, so it's a nice development environment. Hot reloading, errors are handled. It's pretty cool. Okay, so that's a basic function. If we go back to the docs, TypeScript is fully supported. So we can, create a new one. So we do TypeScript for the win.ts, and we just paste that in. And again, the file path becomes the route in the browser. So we go there, I am TypeScript. We get kind of like autocomplete. So, all the sort of nice stuff you like from TypeScript. So that's cool. Okay, so that's kind of the basic of functions. So again, like you're creating they're just simple Node.js APIs, running alongside your front-end code. It's the best way to build backends with Gatsby. And a lot of kind of stuff you expect from. We kind of take a lot of inspiration from Express. So I've used Express before. You get a lot of those same nice things. So like common data formats are automatically parsed. So if you just do like, oops, not that, query string true, run that, and then you can do like console.log query and run that again, and then kind of the data formats that you expect are all supported, and so on. Okay, but yeah, I'll lead you to browse through the rest of the docs, talks about environment variables, HTTP methods, form handling, and then there's more deeper topics you can jump to around like advanced routing stuff, plus middleware. So
oh cool.
If, again, like if you're doing advanced stuff with your API, like you need core support, or you need to do like customize body parsing, a variety of other things, then that's about that.
Yeah, Kyle, we have a question in the chat actually, which I'd like to show, and with our matrix background, that's cool. So John Hansen said, artist, and hi John, you've been on our shows before, so glad you're here. The project is already on Gatsby Cloud, hooked up to builds. One can just write a cloud function, just fresh Gatsby local project, correct?
So it seems like there's two questions here. Like, can you use it on an existing site on Gatsby Cloud? And yeah, as long as you're upgraded to Gatsby 3.7, then things will just work. I'll show you a bit later running, functions running Gatsby Cloud. And then also, so new project, if you start a new project now, then you'll automatically, it'll be on the latest Gatsby. So you'll have.
And one thing I think that I wanted to mention too is, there's this notion that Gatsby just is for static sites, but now with functions, I think that we can put that perception to rest, and we can do dynamic sites as well. So
yeah,
that's all right. Cool.
Okay.
If anyone ever says Gatsby is static, I'm gonna kill them. So stop saying that.
Ouch.
Okay. Okay.
She's serious.
All right.
Take it seriously, people. Okay,
Yeah.
so why functions are awesome, service all the things. Okay, so we looked at some simple functions. So now let's talk about functions and external services. So, as the docs say here, it lets you build dynamic applications without running servers. You can submit forms, authenticate users, securely connect. So if you're writing like front-end code, like that's all straightforward. It's like you write code, it runs in the browser, end of story. But what if you are taking like user input? So like somebody submits a form, like where does it go? Or if you want to build an application where, there's like kind of data, coming from the users or coming from other services, and then you're like loading that like kind of dynamically into it. That's kind of where you're entering into the world of APIs and sort of databases and external services and so forth. And so, you can think of like, there's like the Gatsby. So there's like the browser running your Gatsby site. And then there's these like other services. So just draw a few other services. So the question is like, how do you allow your user who's working in the browser to kind of securely and reliably communicate with these other things? And this is where functions really come into play. Because functions allow you to, basically, kind of intermediate between the browser and these other things. Because like when you have like a database, you don't want to give like unrestricted access to write to the database. Because like even if like people aren't actively malicious, they're going to make mistakes. You want to sort of like mediate how they do stuff, but also there's going to be actively malicious people who would find it fun to delete all your data or to upload a whole bunch of crap, something like that. Like if you let people turn your living room into a pig pen, somebody's going to do it eventually. Somebody's going to do it. And so basically with functions, I'm not very good at etc. Okay. Service P. So with functions, basically, you can make all the traffic go first through a function where you can like validate that it's correct. You can authenticate the user. You can check for like kind of spam or spurious content and so forth. And then only then do you pass it on. And that way you can like check out these things, but only the function has access to the services, not the people in the browser. So
it's a good security measure.
Yeah.
For this, yeah.
Yeah. So like one common service that people use with functions and stuff is like Akismet. It's a really nice service for filtering spam. So if you have a form and people can submit stuff, it's a good idea to pass the form content through Akismet before sending it on, just to protect against that and so forth. Cool. So, what's great about development today is that in the past, like these services, a lot of these you'd have to build yourself. If you're like, oh, we're gonna like handle forms or something like that, or do something else like, or databases, you have to run the database. Anyways, it's just a lot of infra and a lot of kind of operations work. But today there's like, along with like serverless functions, there's like serverless services. And specifically what we're talking about today is like serverless databases, where all the major cloud platforms have like hosted databases that are like really fast, like scale up and down really nicely, and kind of like pay as you go. So you kind of like instantly have a database when you need it, instead of spending a bunch of time. And like if your service gets popular, you can just like increase the amount of stuff. And it's kind of the same nice properties that Gatsby has in general. Like we design Gatsby and functions so that you don't have to like think or worry about like scale. Like as your site gets popular, or as your site grows, like Gatsby and functions are still going to keep checking on. And so using serverless databases gives you that same sort of easy to get started, easy to scale type mode. So
is Fauna one of those types of databases? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be using Fauna. We're not going to be spending a lot of time talking specifically about Fauna. This is a functions streaming thing. But Fauna is a really nice serverless database that a lot of people use, and it works really well. And so we'll be doing something with it. And specifically, we're going to be doing a kind of a one thing that's like pretty hard to do, and a lot of these serverless databases make it a lot more straightforward, is kind of like real-time syncing of data. And so if we go back here, what if we introduce another browser into the mix? So it's all fine and dandy to like have some, browser A save some data to a function, which passes on to a service. But then how do you tell browser 2 about the change to that data? And so Fauna has a streaming service that basically allows each browser to subscribe to updates to data and kind of push it around in real time. So what we're going to build is actually, I'll just kind of give you a sneak peek at where we're going. Oops. Let's see. So if we put two different browsers side by side, and then open this up, and we can like click on one, and then it'll update in both of them.
Nice.
So yeah, so this is an example of sort of real-time syncing. And so what this is like it's a pretty simple example, but it's like Medium.com kind of popularized this, where you can go to a site and you can like click a button as many times as you want to say like I like it, which is kind of silly.
Yeah,
kind of cool. So we're going to build that real quick with Gatsby and functions in Fauna. So let's jump in. So we have a code here. So the pieces that we need to build are first we need to so the pieces are the browser needs to be able to click a button and send it to Fauna through a function. And then we need to be able to subscribe also to updates and then show that into the browser. And so we'll be using React context to, we'll set up a React context to subscribe to something, to Fauna, to update to Fauna. And then, so let's dive in. So we'll create a components directory. And then we'll create a layout file. We want to surround every page on the site with this sort of, we want to be able to like every page on the site.
Okay.
So function layout, children. So I'll just return something really simple to start with. I am layout. Okay, so then open up the index file, and then we'll import page. Import layout from just change this to okay. So then we go back to our home page. Okay, so now we're seeing the IAM layout that's coming from the layout component, and then the home page there. And so we'll just have a increment like there, and then div like count, and then just leave this blank because we don't have a way of getting that yet.
Yep.
But yeah, so then every page in the site, if we go to, we create like a new page here. New page.js. Like new page. Yeah, because this also has a layout around it, it also has sort of this up here.
Same, yep, same structure, yep.
Yeah, okay, so let's look at Fauna for a bit. So I created this Fun with Fauna database. And in a database, you have collections. So it's like Fauna is a document style database, which means you don't have like a formal schema. You just have a collection of documents. And the documents are just like
JSON objects.
JSON, yeah, just like a JSON object. So this is kind of what our structure will be, which will be like a path and then the count. Okay. And yeah, and so then anyways, so the next thing we'll do is write a function which then sends a count update to this document. Yeah, to this Fauna document. Okay, so let's create a new one. So the increment.ts. And let's always copy the boilerplate of here. Okay, so this function, is what basically when we click the increment like, it's going to send a post request to this function, and then send that on to Fauna. So first thing we'll do is we want to validate. Use capital. Okay. Wait. Let's see. Process and what's that method? If it's capitalized. We only want to respond to post requests. We want to ignore other ones.
Okay.
So we say API increment count. It's capitalized. So we say if request.method equals post, else status, the wrong method status, 4 or 5, there we go. 5 dot send, please use a post. Okay. And now we do that, we'll say please use a post. But if we say fetch and method post. Okay, so look at that. Yeah, so that's happy. Okay, so we got kind of that set up. And so now, so like I was saying earlier, whenever you send, like all the kind of common ways of sending data to an API are automatically parsed and turned into sort of like JavaScript objects. So what we want to do from here, when we click increment like, we want to send to, we want to send the path to this function of the page that we're currently on, so that then that can be sent on to Fauna. So here we do, so you do headers, I believe, and then we do application RV, so content type, application JSON, and then we do body, JSON.stringify path, and then we can just do window.location.path_name. And this might work. Ooh, nope, didn't work. Okay. This is the fun of live coding.
Yeah, you're very brave.
Okay, so just doing there, and so I need to do I just missed some. Yeah. Okay, so I did this, and oh, that's strange. Oh, did I accidentally like? Oh, okay. I mocked this up yesterday, and I accidentally used the function I wrote yesterday. So it should be working. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So this is just the function right now is just like repeating what you send to it. So you can see it in the console too. So we'll log it out. But anyway, so it just means that the message is coming through.
Okay.
Okay. So that means the data is getting there correctly. And then now we need to, what we really want to do is then send this on to Fauna. Right. So if we import Fauna DB from Fauna DB, I'm going to cheat because I'm not going to remember all the pieces here. So increment like, yeah, so I'll just sort of copy some stuff up here. But just kind of like so Fauna DB has this like their own custom query language. So you're going to import the queue on there, and then we want to set up a new client. And this is a kind of a very common pattern where you set up a new client and then you pass in a secret. And so we've to pass in secrets, you use environment variables, which we've defined down there. Okay. So now that we have a client, we can make requests to Fauna. So I will just copy this down here. As I was saying, this is not a Fauna streaming thing, so I'm not going to dive too much into the details of this. That's complaining about, ESLint's complaining about await, so we need to make this function async. Also, but basically what it's doing is it's referencing this document here, and then it takes the request.body.path and then it increments that. So it gets it, and then they have kind of this like add method thing, which lets you like increment the value. So it's saying select data, path name, count, and increment it by 1. Okay, so now if we if we look at this data, right now it's just these two. Oh, oops, it's already there. Well, here, let me do that. Fun thing about document database, you can just edit it. Okay, so if we then go back here, and then we rerun this function, now that the function is sending on to Fauna, go back here and refresh, and then, yeah, it's incremented. And so we can run it again, and refresh, and on it goes. And if we were like, let's increment it by 10 each time, we just do that, and then it goes to 12. But
12. Nice.
Okay, so we're making progress, getting the data wired up. Now let's instead of running this in console, let's make it run whenever we click increment like. So that means go back to the layout, and we do on click equals. Okay. So then we do console.log. I was clicked. I was like just making sure everything's working every step of the way.
Yep.
Okay. So that's working, and so then we can just basically just paste that in. And right, we don't need the focus lamp. Then it should just work. So let's open up the network tab and kind of clear that out. And so let's see, we click here if it then does it. Whoa, okay. That's exciting. Okay, and then yeah, we refresh here and it's 14. Let's run it again, 200, 15. Okay, so yeah, things are working. Cool. Congratulations, us.
Yeah, congratulations to you.
I can see a lot of jokes about FQL syntax. There's a FQL syntax hater. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, so Gator's like, I was kind of feeling that yesterday. I'd never used Fauna before yesterday, and I was like, Fauna looks cool. I've heard lots of great things. Let me try it out. And for about 2 hours, I was like, what the freak is going on here? But then, I it kind of clicked. And anyways, there's nice things about it. It's I don't know. They kind of treat it like it's like a function. Anyways, I'm not gonna pass judgment on Fauna, but I got it to work and I like it. Whether it's worth doing your own thing is I'll leave for someone else to decide. But anyways, okay, so on we go. So now increment liking is working and updating in the database, but nobody can see it. It'd be much more useful if
the constant displayed.
Yeah, okay. It would like show up here. So now, so let's do that. I already set up a context. So if you use React context before, you'll be familiar with this, but you can set up that. And then, so typically for kind of like global data that you want to share across all your components, like context is a great solution. And then you'll just want to implement this in Gatsby browser, because Gatsby browser is sort of this like, lets you kind of like, there's a few APIs that Gatsby has that you can use in the browser. And it's a good place for doing kind of global context because there's this thing called wrap root element, which lets you add a component which like wraps everything on your site all the time. And that's kind of where you want sort of root data to go. So I already wrote this, so we're not going to get too deep into this again because this is a Fauna specific thing. But basically, you require the Fauna package. You set up a client, and then on mount basically, React use effect say on mount, subscribe to this document ID, and then whenever there's updates, just set it here and there, and then put it onto the provider. So this means basically is that every time Fauna sees an update to that document, it's going to send it to our browser now. So
cool.
This has actually been working all this time. So let's see this work. So we do. So now we'll be able to see updates to the data. So if I do increment like, then let me clean this up a bit. There's a bit too many console.logs here. Again.
So Kyle, just a question again from John. He asked if the onclick on the button just references the Gatsby Cloud function without importing it or use context.
Sorry, wait. The unclick of the button just references. Yeah. So yeah, the on-click button. Yeah, it's just run. So fetch is a built-in. It's built into the browser. It's a way to run kind of like API request. And so it's just saying, run a request to the API that we created, and make it a post, and then send some JSON. And yeah, so you don't need to. Yeah, it's kind of like it's like you're not just strictly in the front anymore. So importing things, use context. That's all like within the browser context. So now it's kind of like here. There's now two boxes that you can think about. There's like the browser box, but now there's like functions, which is running in the kind of a outside of that. And that's important because it's more secure. You're not like sending to the browser the way to access all these external services. So that's important. It's also nice too because like you're now in a Node.js context instead of a browser context. So you can run Node.js stuff, which you can't always do things in the browser. So that's nice. But because they're like different worlds, they're different boxes, you can't like just directly talk to them. You need to talk between them over HTTP. So you're making like HTTP requests back and forth to get stuff done. And so that's where the fetch comes into play.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, so now we can see, basically, let's simplify this a bit. Okay, so then whenever we click increment like, we can see, the updates come in from Fauna, and like the new page is being set, which is cool. And so then we're setting up the provider, which means then we can use the use context hook to then access it in the component. So because again, like React context just sort of says, hey, here's data available for anyone who wants to use. You don't have to like directly pass it down. It just sort of can be plucked out of thin air, so to speak. So if we do import Fauna context from, where is it? Okay, and then we just do const data equals React.use context. And we just do okay. And so now we say instead of like data again. And now when we increment it, you look over here, we're seeing it both in Gatsby browser, but also in the layout, which means that instead of saying like count and then just leaving it blank, we can do data and data window.location.pathname, then counts. And there we go. Yeah. And if we bring up the second browser again and load that up, it's gonna cry. Okay, so one thing that's not might be this. That was location is undefined. Oh, okay, we don't actually do it. Anyone knows what I'm doing wrong, just tell me. I don't use Firefox very often. All right, let's see. Let's look back in Chrome. If data. There we go. Okay, yeah, because the first render until the subscribe starts, we don't actually have access to the data. Anyway, so, yeah. So now you can I can do it in one browser, and it's updating in both. Okay, cool. So
nice.
Yeah. Let's do one other thing too, because this will actually break in builds because window is not accessible at build time because it's only available in the browser. So what we can do is we can say type of window not equal undefined, then window.location.path name, or just do an empty string. And then here we go. That still works. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think we're done. Let's deploy this. And,
Cool.
do it live. Oh yeah, we can also just say go back to the home page, and the home page doesn't have anything yet. So but now we can then start. That's weird. Oh, it's not loading for some reason. Anyways, it's showing up here now in the data. Okay, so let's commit this stuff.
Yeah.
Commit Livestream code. Push that. Then we go over to Gatsby Cloud. Go to my workspace. Okay. Then yeah, so it's building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can see here compiling Gatsby functions. So close.
Yeah, almost there.
Okay, and it's built. Yay. Yeah, so then if we load that up, and they come.
It is. It's real.
It's real. It's live. It was kind of cool too, is that it's it's shared across every version too, which
yeah, there we go.
trailing slashes strikes again. That's funny. Okay. Anywho, someday we'll iron that out. Okay, so but yeah, if we now we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It's like you're on localhost or you're on the build preview. If we load up the kind of more formal URL, it's all just working. An actual application, you probably want. I mean, you don't want to share the data together like that. But
yeah.
Let me put this in the chat. You guys can, or can I chat? I don't know.
I think.
Can you send it?
Yeah, I think I can send it. So it's the Gatsby site.
Yeah.
Let me see. Fun with Fauna. Okay. Let me just go. Fun with Fauna Master. Gatsby.js. Let's see if I have it. Yeah, here we go. I have it. I'm gonna put it on the chat. And there it is.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah, people open this up. We can all increment the likes count together.
yeah. And this
it's very
again, you
exciting.
showed out of the box, works in Gatsby Cloud and anything. And Benedict Ray said, oh yeah, that you can use functions locally with Gatsby developed. So that's true. So and any comments or questions from the audience? We have about 3 minutes before Kyle has to go to his next meeting.
Yeah, thank you for popping. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Again, functions are Node.js APIs that have zero boilerplate that you build and deploy alongside your Gatsby cloud. Make it really easy to add dynamic kind of backend functionality to your site. Makes it really easy to handle forms, to integrate with other services. They're live, ready to go. Lots of people are using them, and check them out because they're just like super handy. Like you're building your site, and you're like, oh no, I need to do X or I need to do Y, and previously that was kind of like hard, and now it's like super simple. So give it a go, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so without, I guess, knowing no other questions, I think we should let you go, Kyle. I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. And thank you for building Gatsby and making it awesome and continue to make it awesome. I know a lot of people are happy, so including myself. So thank you. Thank you, and have a great one.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So with that, I'm going to end the broadcast. This will be available as a replay on Twitch on our Gatsby channel. Really appreciate everyone joining, and keep out for the next one. Happy coding, everyone. Bye-bye.